Hey everyone, I'm Harshit Agarwal, a ghostwriter, and today one of my very successful clients, Jean-Michel Moreau, is here with us, and he's going to talk about how my ghostwriting helped his business find more clients. Jean-Michel, welcome. I know you're very busy, so thank you for
Thanks
giving
for
me
having
time.
me, Harshit.
Yeah, very happy to have you here. So tell us about who you are and what do you do.
Sure. So, yeah, like you said, I'm Jean-Michel Moreau, and I run Rapid Product Growth. And what we do is we help SaaS business owners and founders get product growth. And usually I'm working with earlier stage. So either it's like pre-product market fit, and they're really trying to get their first 100 to 1,000 users, or it can be somebody, maybe they're at a million ARR, but SEO has trailed off and they want to get to 2 to 5 million ARR. And I help them with the process to unlock paid ads.
What were some of your frustrations and problems that you were having before you started working with me?
The main frustration we had is just not being able to produce enough high quality sales copy. And, there's everyone wants to use Chat GPT, us as well. The problem is it's just nowhere near as good as a trained sales copywriter. And that was the issue. We couldn't get volume that was meeting the quality that we needed, that was actually going to get interested people using our apps.
Awesome. And you could have hired any writer. There are so many writers out there. There are so many agencies out there who do this kind of work. What led you to specifically work with me?
Well, honestly, one of the reasons I wanted to work with you was, I did interview quite a few different agencies, individuals, freelancers, and you had such a solid track record working for other companies. I saw your testimonials, and you really put a super solid effort forward before we even met. Like, you had commented on my post, you found out the business, and I could tell you were a go-getter. And after we worked together, definitely the case, right? So that's really what helped me make the decision, was all that extra action that you did made me see that, okay, this is someone really motivated.
I'm so glad to hear that. And what was the first problem you solved when you started working with me?
Yeah, like I said, the first problem was, I would say, getting headlines written for ads. So we're running lots of ads, and one of the most critical parts of an advertisement is the headline. And we have a process to do testing of those headlines. But really, we needed some solid quality headlines that made sense, that were really connected with our customer and their pain points. And that's where you came in and were able to give us, not just lots of volume, but really good headlines that we were able to use. So where each one of them could have worked.
I'm very happy to hear that. Now, we have been working for more than 3 months together. What do you see as the biggest benefit of working with me, or the biggest strength that you saw working with me?
I would say that, the biggest surprise that I got was just in the extra effort you went into to understand the whole marketplace and the customer that we were going after. A lot of copywriters will just send you something and do a little bit of effort, but you really went through this enormous market deep dive, and through doing that, through like immersing yourself in the media landscape that our customers live in, your copy really started to sound like they were talking to themselves, and that was super clear from the writing. And that's extremely effective copywriting that you can't do unless you do that extra work. So that was the biggest benefit, was here's someone who's really going to speak the language of my customer.
Very happy to hear that. And how has your business changed since you started working with me?
I would say I now have a new standard for what we can expect from a copywriter. Not just copywriting, but also they can handle things like media buying, and even getting us even better understanding of the customer than we might have had at the beginning. So really, for me, set a new benchmark.
And where do you think you would be right now had you not chosen to work with me?
Honestly, I think if we didn't find each other, I would have probably had to hire 2 or 3 people for that role. I was looking for somebody that would, deep dive into the marketing and customer landscape and do this competitive. That could have been a junior marketer. I also needed somebody to write lots of copy. So that could have been a copywriter. And we needed somebody to manage media buying according to this testing system typically in a lot of teams, that's 3 people. But your agency was able to just take care of all of those for us, which was amazing.
Okay. So guess I should have charged much more than I charged.
Probably.
Right.
Probably.
Last question I want to ask you, if there's anyone on the fence, not sure about working with me, what would you say to them? What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I would say if you're on the fence, let me tell you something. It is so hard. I've interviewed so many people trying to find good copywriters for this project and for so many projects, hundreds of projects at this point. And it's really hard to find somebody that can write. Anyone can just, put words on a page, but it's a special skill to do it in the language of your customer and get them to buy. And Harshit proved himself time and time again that he can do that. That's such a difficult skill to find. If you are lucky enough to cross paths, you should definitely take him up on his offer.
Thank you for those kind words. And is there anything else you would like to add before we close this?
No, that's it for me.